forgiveness? I mean, what does it mean to forgive? What's your definition of it?
So just taking this, can I just request each one of you to just ask yourself, how would you define what is forgiveness? What comes up to your mind when you think about forgiveness? What emotions do you experience whenever we are talking about forgiveness or forgiving someone? Just take a moment and be with it.
Okay. And Monica's written in very beautiful meditation. Thank you so much, sir. SG says it was awesome. And Krishna also says it was awesome. Thank you. And you've just thrown a question. The question I asked you, you've thrown it back to the audience. So we'll wait for them. What do you think? What do you think forgiveness is? What do you think it means to forgive? And what kind of reactions or what kind of emotions does it bring out in you? That's the last bit you asked, right?
Yeah, that was the last bit I asked. So just if you have been able to find the answer to that, it's very nice. So what I would like to term forgiveness is just allowing the flow of more goodness and more love into your life and heart, so that you can be at peace, ease and joy by just letting go of all that was said and done to you, because those are not the emotions we need to carry with us. What happens is whenever we are in a situation or whenever someone says something to us, the person who says and does things chooses to simply walk away and leaving us in a bundle of a lot of these negative emotions, a lot of resentment, guilt, pain, sadness, and we keep dwelling upon it, whereas the other person just chooses to coolly walk away. So forgiveness is just not doing that. It's about just letting it be. Because why should someone's opinion actually bother us? What someone has to say something about you bother us? Because it's just an opinion after all. It can't be true to us.
Right. In fact, Monica has written saying that forgiveness is for ourselves, for our inner peace. And Shimona says forgiveness is letting go of, to be free from baggage. And somebody whose name is not there, but it's a bunch of symbols, it has written to try to forget it from mind and soul. To try and forget it, is forgiveness forgetting?
Not necessarily. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Forgiveness simply means, as I said, just letting go. Because here what happens is there is a lot of debate still happening around forgiveness and forgetting. Okay, so to just say this, what I would like to do, I would like to talk it in the form of just give an anecdote or an analogy, whichever way you look at it. There is a common thing which is being told to us right from our childhood, that ek baar Bhagwan bhi maaf kar deta hai, God even forgives once. Okay, whenever we do something wrong. Very true, because God doesn't come down and punish you then and there itself. He forgives you so that you can just choose to move on. But has he forgotten? I don't think he has forgotten. And if that is the reason probably we talk a lot about karma. What we give out amplifies and comes back to us. We have to pay it back. That is what God does. And if you ask me what is karma, karma is just a lesson which we learn over a period of time for the deeds which we have done in the past.
Right.
So it's not about forgetting. That is how I would like to define it. Forgetting, we consciously, what we try to do is, someone says that forget it, move on. We consciously try to force ourselves to forget and overcome the situation. But in the process, what we don't realize is that we are actually going through the pain more and more. It's just like the second thing what I would like to add is, between a parent and a very small child, a child does something wrong, what do we choose to do? That's okay. And then probably we always are looking at it from a space of forgiveness or just letting it be. And do we tend to remember that? No, we don't. We simply forget it, and maybe after 10 years, 20 years in some social gatherings, when we have family reunions happening, we talk about it, but in a very humorous way. Hey, you were a small child, this is what something you did, because just because I was your mom, I was your brother, I was your sister, I didn't do anything about it.
That's right.
So forgetting anything that was done, also let it be natural. Just hold the intent that I am willing to forgive. That's it. Forgetfulness, forgetting happens automatically. It's just a part of the healing process.
And there's some very interesting things that people have written in, Prashant, sharing very quickly with you. Rita has written in saying, forgiveness is letting go of the offense and associated emotions that hold you captive to that incident. It doesn't mean you agree with their behavior, but you let it go. She also says we forgive because we can't forget. So that's an interesting thought.
That's an interesting perspective, and what she has said, it's indeed very beautiful. It's also about, a sort of lesson. What we need to do is that we need to clearly define and draw our boundaries so that next time no one does that to us, or the same individual doesn't do that to us. Because there and then itself, we can choose to always tell them upfront that this is not acceptable to me.
Right.
Leave it there. What you did was not acceptable to me. So that you're giving the indication that yes, I probably should not have done that. But you hold it inside of you, it's going to bother you more and more.
Correct. Vandana says forgiveness is for peace of my mind. SG says forgive the hurt and pain we feel because of others' behavior, etc. And Nishi says to release hurt, resentment, and anger. And Simran says forgiveness is the courage you have and freedom you get after forgiving. And Nareen says letting go of lower vibrations. And Rita again is written and saying we forgive because God forgave us first. We must forgive others as God forgives us, because as on earth, as in heaven. It's so beautiful what everybody has written in. They've kind of expressed what you were saying. They've brought in newer, different perspectives.
Yes.
So I'm very impressed. Honestly speaking, I was not expecting this range of explanations and what they feel about it to come out like this. So audience, kudos to you.
Thankful to the audience for putting that out for me, because you have saved me from talking about it quite a lot.
Yeah, in fact, who was it who wrote that forgiveness, to try and forget it? In fact, this was a big question on my mind, Prashant, to ask you, what is the difference between forgiving and forgetting? Because all the time you hear people, I can forgive, but I can't forget. And sometimes people say, I can forget, but I can't forgive. I don't know how that happens, though. I mean, if you can forget, it means it's forgiven, right? So is there a difference between the two? Are they both the same thing? Are they two sides of the same coin? Like, what's going on with that entire deal?
They are both distinctly different, because if forgiveness happens and you don't try to rethink, as I said earlier, forgetting happens automatically. Just leave it to the divine source. Let God handle them. Why do you want to step into his shoes and do something for them? Why do you want to be revengeful? Why do you want to hold a desire to take revenge or avenge what was done to you? Just let it be, because you are just piercing yourself by thinking all these thoughts, bringing pain to you. As I said, the other person is free, walking around, dancing around, lot of joy. Hey, I said this to him. It was a tight slap on his face. Okay, and the more you are going to chase him, it's only going to be a concern to you, not to the other person.
Right.
So let God handle them. As I said, God also forgives, but he doesn't forget. That's how I look at it. It always comes back in the form of karma, not immediately, but yes, at some point of time in our life. And then I always say karma is a lesson, nothing else. It's a lesson.
Right. And Ashok says, forgiving is an act to empty yourself from negative within us. And Vandana says, it's not easy though. It's a tough job. It's not easy to forget. You're very right, Vandana. It's not easy to forget. And thank you for actually bringing that up, because it's not being easy to forget doesn't mean that it's not possible to do it. There are amazing, if I may use the word, tools at hand that will and do help you. You have an example right here in front of us in the form of our expert, Prashant, who also shared something about his own life and how this helped him. Prashant, I think, Vandana, again, thank you. You've brought in a very, very, very good point. It's not easy to do this. So tell us, how do we do this? How to get about this? How to go about this?
It's actually forgiveness is nothing but just imperative for us, so that we release the past, we set the people, the situations, and the circumstances free, and ourselves free.
Right.
And as I said, it's all about creating more space in your heart to bring in more love, because that is what our soul is meant to be. It's all about love.
And is there anything?
Why do we hold on to resentments?
Right.
And so a quick way to do that would be the easiest tool, what I would say, which you could do as you walk, any moment, any point of time, is a beautiful affirmation which really helps us in this process. And I would like to read this affirmation out for you. So if each one of you could just close your eyes for a moment and just repeat the words I'm going to say. See how this feels. And before we do that, think about somebody whom you're willing to do forgiveness with. Just bring up the name of this person, or just visualize this person, bring him up in your mind. Now close your eyes and just read the words what I'm repeat the words what I'm reading out for you. I, Prashant, forgive you. Name of the person. For not being the way I wanted you to be. I now choose to forgive you and set you free and set myself free. I am now willing and open to allow the flow of love and harmony in all my relationships. And as I do this, I attract healthy relationships. And so it is.